Yeah, I want to start with a huge thanks to the organizers, and it's really an honor for me to speak here in Israel. And also thanks to Mattes for your kind introduction, or kind, typical. Okay, but back to the topic. Forgotten perpetrators, the SS dentists of Auschwitz, Willy, Schatz and Willy Frank, activities, crimes, criminal proceedings. So the title of my talk and my presentation, I will give you a brief overview of the activities of SS dentists in Auschwitz. In the history of medicine, often biographies of perpetrators and questions about individual ambitions or the focus of, are the focus of research. Today I want to highlight the context in which my two protagonists acted. This means that I'm not going to talk about the biographical information on Willy Frank or Willy Schatz. You will get some information on my slides. But I mainly want to focus on the framework for action, the network of their acting persons, and the interdependent processes of decision making. Moreover, I want to use the two SS dentists as a kind of access point or a kind of door opener to describe historical events and radicalization in Auschwitz. Starting point and aim of my interest on dentistry in Auschwitz were two statements. The first, made by Rudolf Höss, last commandant of Auschwitz. He said that the part of the so-called non-medical tasks, nicht ärztliche Tätigkeiten, for SS dentists was the supervision of prisoner dentists who, as members of the Sonderkommandos, were responsible for the extraction of gold teeth. Höss stated, after the gassings, members of the Sonderkommando pulled the gold teeth from the victims. The gold was melted down into ingots, at first by SS, later by dentists. After crematory 2 and 3 was built, a special laboratory was constructed to melt the gold. The gold ingots were sent to an SS sanitation head office. The second statement was made by Perpetrators, leading physician in Ravensbrück concentration camp. He defines the task of camp dentist Martin Hellinger in Ravensbrück with following words. It was Hellinger's task to extract the gold teeth after confirmation of the victim's death. These statements allege that the only task of SS dentists was the extraction of gold teeth of the death or to supervise this very famous Nazi crime. But being an SS dentist in Auschwitz meant more, and it was even more connected to other crimes. To show you the complexity of their activities, I want to start my presentation with its end, the Frankfurt Auschwitz trial. The Frankfurt Auschwitz trial was in fact a series of trials running from 20 December 1963 to the 19th of August 1965, charging 22 defendants under German criminal law for their roles in the Holocaust as mid to lower level officials in the Auschwitz-Birkenau death and concentration camp complex. Among the 22 defendants, we find two dentists, Willy Frank, head of the SS dental station, and Willy Schatz, second SS dentist in Auschwitz. Both were accused of having selected prisoners at the ramp in Auschwitz. They had been able to resume their professional work since 1947 unchecked. While Frank was sentenced to 7 years imprisoned, Schatz was acquitted on 20th of August 1965. It ultimately could not be proved beyond reasonable doubt that he took part of selection. In the following, I want to answer three questions. First, where was the location of the dental station in Auschwitz, so the area of acting? Second, what kind of activities took place here? And third, was Willy Schatz really not involved in the selection of Jews? The dental station was part of the Auschwitz Stammlager from the very beginning in 1940. It was led by two SS dentists and two SS non-academic dentists from May 1940 to January 1945. In contrast to other concentration camps, Auschwitz was the only concentration camp with a head of the dental station and a second SS dentist. You can see the list of the dentists and SS non-academic dentists on my slides. Here. So the second SS dentist. Regarding the hierarchy, the SS dentist supervised the SS non-academic dentists, the prisoner dentist, and the prisoner non-academic dentist. The SS dental station also had a dental laboratory where between 6 and 10 prisoner dentists and 2 or 3 regular prisoners worked. Most of them came from the so-called Schutzhaftlager, which was located in Block 9. This is here. And about 3 female prisoners worked as receptionists. The dental station was located on the first floor of the SS Revier, also the office of the chief SS doctor. The rooms of the SS pharmacy and the concentration camp Gestapo, the so-called politische Abteilung. Short ways to the chief SS doctor made it easier to coordinate medical and administrative tasks. Until 1943, gold teeth were melted here by prisoner dentists, after that in Auschwitz-Birkenau. As you can see on the map again, the dental station was close to crematory 1. This is here. The windows of the dental station were directed to the gas chamber. So it was possible for every SS dentist and prisoner dentist to watch the gassings and killings of prisoners. So why were there 2 leading SS dentists in Auschwitz? The tasks for dentists were similar in every concentration camp. For example, the SS dentist in Buchenwald was responsible for the treatment of both the SS troops and prisoners. 2 dentists in Auschwitz mean a different framework for action. Due to a loss of sources, it is quite difficult to identify the real task for the SS dentists in Auschwitz. But in comparison of Frank and Schatz, we can identify some differences. Frank, as head of the dental station, was responsible for the whole camp complex in Auschwitz. This includes all prisoner dental stations in the Stammlager, Birkenau, Monowitz, and all the other sub-camps. He was also responsible for collecting the gold of the dead and for the shipping of this gold. You can see this letter from Frank to the SS Wirtschaftshauptverwaltungsamt. This is Karl Hermann Frank, not Willy Frank, reporting that they already collected so much gold from the concentration camps, more than 50 kilos, that they need to send it directly to the Reichsbank. Furthermore, Schatz was responsible for building up and equipping the prisoner dental stations. Prisoners of Auschwitz were never treated by SS dentists, only by prisoner dentists. Frank proudly pointed to the increase of personnel of the prisoner dental stations from 13 to 40 during the Frankfurt Auschwitz trial. He paid special attention to ensure that patient and prisoner physicians were of the same race as their patients to avoid any problems. Schatz himself was responsible for the treatment of the SS troops and the German civilians. Twice per week, he offered family appointments for the relatives of the SS men and even for the mates of the SS leaders. To be clear, whilst Schatz treated the low-ranked SS troops, Frank was the dentist for the SS leaders. Once in a week, Schatz, sometimes together with Frank, visited the other camps and sub-camps in the Auschwitz complex to treat the SS men. Both of them had high ranks in the SS and were on a high level in the camp hierarchy. Regardless of that, they had to visit the SS troops. This is quite interesting because it shows that the maintenance of order and the extermination of the European Jews was so important that none of the camp guards should leave their place. As you can see, there was not a huge difference between the tasks of the first and the second dentist of Auschwitz. This becomes particularly obvious when we focus on the daily practice of both dentists. In addition to the treatment of camp guards, the main task for the SS dentists was the selection of new prisoner dentists and the collection of dental material and drugs after the selection made by SS doctors on the ramp. They used the selected material from the incoming transports, especially for equipping the prisoner dental stations. So we have 3 main areas of action. First, the supervision of extracting and melting the gold of the dead. Second, the treatment of the SS camp guards and the German civilians. And third, the collecting of new material and selection for new prisoner dentists. Part of their recreational activities were going hunting with other SS leaders and taking trips to different places around Auschwitz. But let me now shed light on the main reason why I decided to focus on both dentists, the accusation of having selected prisoners at Auschwitz, especially for Schatz. It was not until May 1944, when Jews from Hungary were deported, that Auschwitz-Birkenau became the site of the largest mass murder in modern history and the epicenter of the final solution. Between 325,000 and 349,000 Jews were immediately gassed within a period of 10 weeks in 1944. The deportation of the Hungarian Jews began on April 29, 1944, when a trainload of Jews was sent to Birkenau on the orders of Adolf Eichmann, and approximately 137 to 147 transports from Hungary arrived in Auschwitz-Birkenau from the 16th of May till the 22nd July. This might sound very cynical, but an enormous amount of transport was a huge problem for the leadership of the concentration camp. That is why on May 8, 1944, former Commandant Rudolf Hess was brought back to Auschwitz-Birkenau to supervise the further deportation of the Hungarian Jews. The next day, Hess ordered the train tracks to be extended inside the Birkenau camp so that the Hungarian Jews could be brought as close as possible to the gas chambers. Only 20% of the arriving prisoners were registered. The majority was immediately gassed. Since the camp staff was no longer able to cope with these mass transports alone on the ramp, a central order was issued to all SS members working in the SS Krankenrevier, including dentists and pharmacists. Schatz was on the list for service on the ramp several times. He fulfilled the service. Thanks to the German historian Stefan Hördler, who identified many SS doctors and camp guards on the ramp, we can now see that Schatz was among the selecting SS doctors. Most of you will know these both photo albums from Auschwitz, the Lily Jakob album on the left and the so-called Karl Höcker album on the right. So the photos from the Lily Jakob album are here in Israel, in Yad Vashem, and the Karl Höcker pictures are in the United States Holocaust Museum in Washington. And perhaps this very famous picture, every single man in this picture was involved in the killing of the Polen Jews. We see in the first line, for example, Karl Höcker, Otto Moll, Rudolf Hess, Richard Beer, and Josef Mengele. And on the right side, we see that inside of the camp, the SS guards and SS leaders had a lot of fun with some girls who visited them. On this photo, we see him, Willy Schatz with his back to us, selecting Jews from Hungary. So on the left side, the red circle. On the right side, this is this one. And in this photo from front, you can see him in the last line, directly close or directly behind Karl Höcker. It is the inauguration of the SS 6 station with very high SS leaders. And in this one, we see him with other SS doctors in a coal mine close to Katowice. In the last line, we see, for example, Eduard Wirtz, chief SS doctor of Auschwitz. We see Enno Lolling, head of the medical division for all the SS concentration camp. And in front, for example, the SS doctor from Ravensbrück, Richard Trommer, the SS doctor from Neuengamme, Alfred Trebinski. This trip to the coal mine was on the one hand a reward for their faithful or successful work, but more important, a possibility to exchange information about killing, selecting people, and work in an efficient death camp. This demonstrates that the dentists at Auschwitz were very closely aligned with the leadership of the concentration camp and very important for retaining order in Auschwitz, supporting SS troops and founding the war effort by providing gold stolen from murdered prisoners. Additionally, they were a useful source for other SS doctors, especially during this kind of informal meetings, for example, in the coal mine. They could inform other SS doctors on selecting, killing, and treating prisoners in a death camp. Let me finish with a statement made by Willy Schatz during the Frankfurt Auschwitz trial. He stated that he never selected groups of prisoners for the gas chamber, but it could be possible that I walked back and forth on the ramp in order not to attract attention and accidentally ran along the selected group of Jewish prisoners. It needed more than 70 years to identify Schatz as part of the selecting SS doctors, although the so-called Lily Jakob album was the main evidence in Frankfurt. Thank you very much.